epithet describing God, the Supreme Being. God as Satchidananda is truth, is consciousness, and is blissful. These are essential qualities of God. The
Supreme Being
God
is
as
truth itself,
Satchidananda is
is a
truth,
conscious
is
living being,
consciousness,
and is the
blissful. These are essential qualities of God. The
Supreme Being
God
is
as
truth itself,
Satchidananda is
is a
truth,
conscious
is
living being,
consciousness,
and is the
blissful. These are essential qualities of God. The
Supreme Being
God
is
as
truth itself,
Satchidananda is
is a
truth,
conscious
is
living being,
consciousness,
and is the
blissful. These are essential qualities of God. The
Supreme Being
God
is
as
truth itself,
Satchidananda is
is a
truth,
conscious
is
living
consciousness,
being, and is the
blissful.
We can also
These are
use this
essential
to describe
qualities of
the soul
God.
in its perfect and ultimate reality. More than an attribute, Satchidananda is a spiritual potion for us to experience a joy beyond the senses. To experience spiritual bliss, we continually have to reflect on truth and allow it to illuminate our consciousness. Take a few moments now and step away from the world of sights and sounds. Allow yourself to become absorbed in the peace and stillness of the moment. In this moment, let's meditate on truth. You are luminous light. You are an eternal, beautiful, powerful being of light. Just spend a few moments allowing the reality and truth of your absolute existence to permeate your awareness. God is also an eternal luminous being of pure light. There is one main difference between the Supreme Being and us human souls. The Supreme One never takes a body, never comes into the cycle of birth and death as we do. The One always remains beyond the play of matter and duality. We enter this world and travel between happiness and sorrow, freedom and bondage, light and dark. The Supreme is eternally the ocean of peace, love, power, and truth. We come from beyond this world, from a dimension of pure light and stillness. This is the home where all souls reside before they enter the theater of life. For the next few moments, let your mind reflect on these timeless concepts. Allow the soul to absorb these spiritual and real aspects of the universe. Remember the Supreme Being in the dimension of light, and remember yourself as a being of luminous light. God is that being who is not just light or truth, but supreme energy of great joy and love, of bliss. And the bliss of God comes because there is always an awareness of being pure consciousness and of being connected to every being and the great truth of life. Take a moment now to rest with the ocean of bliss. Allow waves of joy to wash over your mind, even just for a few moments. See yourself as a spiritual being who is blissful, connected with God, the ocean of bliss. It only takes a few moments of this awareness daily to recharge and reconnect with our natural joy. Om Shanti, I am peace.
Good afternoon, everyone. Om Shanti. Welcome to Brahma Kumaris, Silicon Valley. We're starting a new parenting series today, A Positive Home Through a Positive Attitude. And I'm Meghna, the host for this series. And I'll start off with a quick introduction and also give you an overview of this particular series. I've been associated with Brahma Kumaris nonprofit global spiritual organization for the last 7 years. And this has changed my life for good. I feel a lot more positive person and indeed a more beautiful parent than I was before. The knowledge has helped give me a lot of inner stability, spiritual well-being, and overall even emotional stability. So when you have all of those qualities, parenting becomes very easy. And a working mother, so to juggle between work, home, and kids and everything else, it indeed, when we are emotionally well, everything becomes a lot easier. So I was someone who had no time because I was overwhelmed with everything I was doing. But I gave some time to spirituality, meditation, and knowledge taught at Brahma Kumaris. And I actually got many hours of my life back. Little investment, but lot in return. That is what is called a profitable business or a very meaningful investment. So for me, I started with few minutes of investment because that is all I could spare. But today I spend hours every day on this practice, on learning, sharing, and so on. And this time comes to me because there is so much inner calmness. When you have inner clarity, focus, your work gets done very quickly. A lot of people come to help you. There are no hassles. So it's a very smart way of living. And this series, our main intent is to really for both parents and kids to enhance their attitude, because attitude is a very critical inner block, a building block that brings a lot of joy in our life. Attitude is a again another building block for good relationships. It's all internal. So the kids had their class today in the morning, which talked about the exact same topic that we are going to discuss here as parents. The reason for separate classes is because the learning pace is slightly different, and we wanted to introduce the attitude concept to kids in a very simple manner, and that is why they had a separate class today in the morning with stories, insights, and pretty much the same content that we are going to go through. So we are hoping that you as a family today discuss what you learned, and you are able to practice and hold each other accountable, that we will as a family practice this particular positive attitude, um, and make the house environment even more positive. So today we will talk about an attitude for regard for all. How do we enhance and develop further our attitude, which has regard for everyone? So with that, I would actually like to get started with meditation. That's how we start every series. Every class starts with a meditation. And just as a quick FYI, we will have 6 classes in this series with 6 different attitudes that every week we will focus on a different attitude. And we have 2 weeks off. One is for the Christmas and one is for the Thanksgiving. And so that's kind of the flow for the series. The meditation itself, no prior experience is needed. All you need is to just sit there, relax, keep your mind and heart both open. And heart stays open when you say, whatever thoughts are being sent, they are my own truth. I accept them. I want to test and experiment how they feel. And that's when your heart starts warming up. So in a meditation exercise, it's very important for both the mind and the heart to participate. And when your heart is participating and experiencing beautiful emotions, then that is a very powerful journey. You will want to come back to meditation and again if you're able to experience your inner warmth, whether it is peace, love, or joy. So with that, I would like to get started with the meditation. Please join me. And I'll get started with a background music. Sit comfortably, back upright, feet on the ground, and body as still as possible. When the body is still, it is easier to make the mind still. Let's take few deep breaths in silence. Breathe in freshness, gentleness, softness. This is who you really are. Breathe out, release the burden, the negativity. Through our mind. Let's fly away to a far off place where there are tall mountains surrounding us, a calm, clean lake, the glow of the sun spreading its orange light everywhere, and a beautiful blend of colorful flowers. It is like heaven on earth. Every ounce of the sea is soothing, pleasant, and rejuvenating. Mother Nature bestows selflessly its beauty for all. And it touches my inner chords of selflessness, of that warmth, of that cleanliness that exists within me. Flowers are fragrant for all. The sun's light is for all, not judgmental and unconditional is the quality of Mother Nature, and it appeals to me. It brings comfort in me. Because it resonates who I am. I am no ordinary creation. I too am a pure, selfless being whose love is for all. I have no judgment, no bias. My potential is to maintain unconditional love for all. I share whatever I have with all. I'm a bestower like Mother Nature and like my eternal parent God. It is in this silence that I am able to connect to who I am and realize what a beautiful inner world I have. In the hustle bustle and the noises around us, we forget there is a beautiful world full of treasures within us. And the more we take out the time in silence to be with the authentic self, the more our authenticity will emerge and express itself through our words and actions. Thank you, dear Mother Nature and God, for helping me realize what a fantastic and beautiful creation I am. Welcome everyone to a positive home through a positive attitude. And like we said, today we will focus on foster attitude or regard for all. And we will make this class as engaging as possible. So would appreciate your participation through chat as we ask questions. So would love your interaction. And so let's get started with how would you define attitude? If you could share some of your responses on the chat. How would you define attitude? So we'll have to a Q&A time in the end. I know somebody raised hand, but if you can please hold on to the end. Would love to hear anybody who would like to share your reaction, inner thoughts, feeling towards a situation, the character, ability to think in a positive way, no matter what external circumstances are. Wonderful. Inner feelings, the character. Thank you. Wonderful. And pretty much summing up what you all have already said, it's a way of thinking or feeling. It is internal about someone. It could be positive, it could be negative. As we are seeing in this picture, two different people, they're looking at the same scene. One is only seeing not seeing anything good in this particular scene, whereas the other person is enjoying it. You're growing a plant. This one is, the attitude is that someone will bite it and eat it. And this one is thinking, man, this will grow into a big tree and I'll make a lot of money. So it is internally, what are you thinking about others? It could be people, it could be a particular situation, life in general. What is your internal thinking and feeling? That is what is the attitude. And attitude shows up in our behavior. How does attitude get developed? Question again for all of you. How does attitude get developed in us? Whether it is positive, negative, sometimes positive, sometimes negative. How does it get developed? Anybody? How does attitude get developed? Thinking, going through situations, genetic, learned, environmental factors, then thought becomes actions. Wonderful stage in life. Yes, there are many different parameters indeed that influence our attitude and indeed our surroundings, our environment. I wouldn't say it is genetic, it is more upbringing, the surrounding of people. Genetic is a little bit more physical. Yes, experience indeed. And if you want to look at the building blocks of attitude, then it starts really like a lot of you said, thoughts, feeling, and that becomes attitude. Then attitude then is the way you perceive. Perception also comes a bit later, but this is all internal. And many people might not be able to see it immediately, although our face is a big storyteller. So if your attitude is incorrect towards someone, your face will show it. Although we try hard to smile and hide it off, but eventually we are able to show it. And then this attitude, so this is basically the expression that is being formed, how I am going to express myself. It is all inside. And then we express ourselves through externally, through actions. Then repeated actions become habits. A bunch of habits together determine our personality. And then that determines our destiny. But if we go even more deeper, then the thought layer, awareness of who I am. And this could be variety of different things we might think about, but at the deepest level, whether you think of yourself as a physical being or a spiritual being, body or soul. So depending upon that, your thoughts change, your feelings change, your attitude change. And we will see throughout the series how this is the fundamental, the deepest layer that is determining our attitude. Typically the one who is at the physical level thinks only of, that I am this body or I am this mother of my two kids. Their attitude towards the kids and the attitude towards other kids will vary. They will have all kinds of closeness and special treatment only towards their kids. Indeed, we are responsible for our kids, but our attitude should not change depending upon whether it is my kid or your kid. And it happens. We will change our attitude when we think of ourselves as a limited being, which is physical. So throughout this series, we will see how these attitudes change based on the awareness we have. So if I think of myself as a mother, then typically my awareness becomes very limited. And all my thoughts are about my child and my child's well-being. And my feelings are either sadness or happiness, depending upon how my child is doing. And my attitude also towards work, home, everything changes based on that awareness. Oh, my kids are not doing well. How can I concentrate on work? How can I do this? The moment you think of yourself as a spiritual being, all your thoughts will change to become a lot more peaceful, a lot more broad-minded. Your feelings will remain very courageous. They will not become weak just because a child is going through something. And it doesn't mean we are insensitive. It just means we are aware that any negative feeling that we experience will cause us to have a negative outlook towards our kid and life, and that will cause our expression to be negative, not very useful. So always having a bigger awareness of who you are, that you are a spiritual being who has the ability to think positively, feel pure at every moment. So here at Brahma Kumaris, we are always taught to work at the deepest layer. Otherwise, we can't change the attitude. So why is right attitude important? Question for you all. What is the benefit of having a good attitude? Bring good results. Yes. Closer to our true identity. You'll have a meaningful life. Absolutely. Cooperation. To live better life and relationships. Absolutely, all good answers. And I'm just going to repeat what you all have already pretty much said. Basically, to summarize it, if your attitude is good, then you are having a very good, you're able to handle conflicts better indeed. Our attitude towards life determines the quality of our life. So if your attitude is negative, you will find your life to be miserable, and it changes the atmosphere around us through our subtle vibrations. So a lot of research has been done here that our every thought and the way that attitude towards what we are looking at, that attitude is like a vibration that gets spread in the atmosphere, and every molecule in the atmosphere, its composition changes because of the vibrations. So positive attitude changes the composition in a very beautiful manner. Many people have done scientific research on this, and they've seen how particles and physical matter changes its composition in a very nice manner when the attitude is positive in that house. And when the attitude is negative, again the composition of the matter changes, but it moves towards deterioration faster. Positive attitude changes the matter to stay in a restored manner, versus your negative vibes changes the matter to go towards the deterioration stage. That much is the power of the vibrations. And that is why we say, I'm getting good vibes from this person, I'm getting bad vibes. These vibes are nothing but the attitude towards internal. Through the words, we might be speaking beautiful things, but our house, whether the house is full of peace, love, is determined by the attitude, what you are thinking inside about your family members, about your work. All of that is spread. So kids cannot be really happy if our attitude is very negative in that particular house. And like some of you already said, helps in maintaining good relationship, forging good relationships. And it also enables us to keep the inner and outer world clean and clear. Because if we are having a negative attitude towards someone, then there is a lot of dirt inside. And if there is dirt inside in our memory, in our heart, if we have some wrong feelings, then those feelings will eventually be expressed through our mouth. Then the outer world also gets dirty, means relationships get spoiled. So attitude helps us to maintain that inner and outer cleanliness. And our expression. hugely dependent on the attitude we have. So if your expression is bad, then your experience of life will also be bad. So if you are, because of your negative attitudes, those vibrations are traveling in your words, in your actions, in the way you relate to people, then your expression was negative. The way you will experience life will also be negative. So it's pretty much at every moment we are releasing vibrations to the cosmos through our attitude. Whatever we release is what we will attract back. So it's a very critical building block. Now, moving on towards attitude of regard for all, here there is no exception. We want to have respect for everyone, whether it is a young baby, or young child, young sibling, elder parents, doesn't matter. There should be nobody who is excluded. Whether I am a teacher, I should have a lot of respect for a kid who's studying well or who is not studying well, who's listening or not listening. So this class is very, very helpful at Brahma Kumaris. This is my own experience. And many people say, what you are listening, do a quick reflection. Is there anybody who you don't have regard for? Check. And including Mother Nature, any small, tiniest creature, do I have regard? And how do I develop this regard for everyone? And why should I develop? Why should I develop regard for all when I feel some people don't deserve to be respected? We could have that kind of feeling as well. So now, what does having regard mean? This is a very silly question and a very obvious question, but I would love to hear, what do you think having regard means? Having respect for someone, what does it mean to you? Yes, respect, it does mean respect. How would you define respect? Sometimes these words are like appreciating and valuing them. Thank you. Trust, an intention, wonderful. Caring for others, do the right thing for them. Excuse me. Treating people well. Yeah. So beautiful. You all have already summarized it well. Open to others' ways. Having regard also means visualizing them as a pure, powerful, peaceful soul, irrespective of their actions and thoughts. This is very, very deep. Thank you. Thank you all for being so engaging and giving so many answers. Acceptance, indeed. Very well said. So just adding only some more things, summarizing, actually, I'm not adding anything more, but you all have given more than what I am sharing here through these slides. It means you value them, you consider their opinion, their presence, or life to be valuable. You should never have an opinion that this person, what is their purpose? They are good for nothing. Their life is meaningless. That kind of a feeling is really a very, very deep disregard. And always have that appreciation and not to judge or dismiss others. And we will see how we develop this kind of respect and why everybody deserves respect and good wishes for them. Like some of you already mentioned, you should care for them, love for them, have concern for their well-being. And inclusive, it's always inclusive. There is no one who should be excluded from receiving our love or our regard, right? Everybody deserves to be treated well, and everybody is special and unique in their own special way. So this is pretty much how we would summarize having regard. Now, why is it important to have regard for all? What are the advantages? Suppose you are someone who's now developed this. or maybe who's someone who's trying to develop this, if you had this quality fully, emerged in you, what are some advantages you'll start seeing in life? Indeed, happiness, you'll be less negative. Giving is receiving. The more we give, the more we'll get. You'll develop positivity. We get regard back and more positivity, and will give yourself and others positive energy. Increase self-confidence for us and others. Wonderful. It will help us get closer to our identity. Strong and positive bonding, positive life. So many specialities. And some of you already kind of mentioned this in different ways, but you feel you're doing the right thing. Just imagine, how does that energy feel inside of you when you have respect? And just visualize that scene where you had disrespect. How does the heart feel? How does your memory feel? How does your face look? Everything changes based on how you are feeling inside. So we are indeed working with a variety people. Hundreds of people come in our life. Day in, day out, we are meeting, whether it is at a grocery store or our home or at work or elsewhere. We are meeting people. And at every moment when we look at them, how is our inner feeling? Do we judge them? Do we dismiss them based on their gender, their culture, their clothing, their smile, everything? We are looking at them, their behavior. What is our inner feeling? What is our attitude towards them? Is their external appearance causing inner dirt to be created? So we will talk about questions a little bit in few minutes. So hold on to them, please. And thank you for putting them on the Q&A. We will get to them. So cooperation with all. You cannot cooperate with all if you have disregard. And the moment you have disregard, disrespect, your joy goes. The moment regard is nothing but a form of love. So when love is gone from your life, peace is gone, joy is gone. You cannot have joy. But when you have regard, you're easily able to help others. Your help is not restricted to few people. It is for all. And relationships become very strong. There is this beautiful synchrony that goes on when you maintain regard. And indeed, there are always some aspects of us which is not beautiful. Each one of us has beauty and some ugliness, which is ugliness in the form of weaknesses, some or the other behavior patterns which are not very comfortable. Each one of us has good and bad in us. So when we maintain regard for each other, irrespective of who we are, it enables, because regard is the core need for every human soul. If you ask anyone, everything we are doing is to prove that we are worthy. If we are trying to be nice to people, we want to show that I'm worthy, I can bring value, I can be nice. Being nice is bringing value. So when I am able to give that value to others by respecting them from inside, I might not say a single word actually. Regard doesn't mean I have to say special things. It is very internal, and this internal regard is actually a lot more powerful than the flowery words of paragraphs. We don't need that. So when the attitude inside is very clean, then relationships become very harmonious. And like we said, people are different, but our hearts can be united. when we understand these differences are the ones that enrich us. So when differences don't cause a disregard in me, then that becomes a unity. So in a family of four, typically these days, what I see is four people in the family, they're different. They have some common things for sure, but there is a lot of difference in the personality. And if we focus on why they are like this and they should be like this, I am right, my personality is right, my viewpoint is right, then hearts are disunited. And when the heart is disunited, then the whole atmosphere of the house becomes very negative. It's a very weak home. So we have to, this attitude of regard enables us to respect even the differences. And ideas can be exchanged very easily from each other, because the person who wants to, who's developed this attitude in a full-blown manner, where they have respect for everyone, that they believe that anybody can come up with a good idea, anybody's idea can be innovative, when they want to listen to everyone, such a person learns a lot, because they allow everyone to teach them something. They never exclude anyone from learning. They feel I can learn from anyone. And when everybody has this attitude of respect, imagine each human soul actually is a mind-blowing creation, can come up with a lot of innovative ideas. And if in a group we are respecting each other's ideas, imagine what powerful creation can come out from that group. So learning becomes easy, idea exchanges become easy, the end result will automatically be mind-blowing, because many creative minds respected each other's ideas and created an end product, which is mind-blowing. And this could be a family actually. A family could solve a problem in such a unique manner when everybody respects each other idea, and underline, parent needs to respect kids and kids need to respect parents. Spouses need to respect each other, siblings need to respect each other. And then one of the biggest ones, for me, this is the biggest one, is because when you lose regard, you have locked your heart from experiencing love. You will not be able to experience love in your heart at that moment. And suppose this person is living with you and you have this judgmental attitude towards them. They are clumsy, or they're noisy, or they only watch TV all the time, they are good for nothing. Suppose you have this commentary about a person in your house, and person in your house means you're seeing them day in and day out. That means day in and day out, your heart is not experiencing love. It's love is not something which, if, oh, I have, for 10 people I have love and one person I don't have love. No, you're at that moment, every time you're thinking about that person, you're feeling disregard, you're feeling criticism, means you're not experiencing love. And what is life without love? So when it is our core need, it is a core need of every human soul. We need love. It's like oxygen. Just like body cannot survive without oxygen, we, the human souls, we become like cold, bitter, really a robot who has no feelings. Although through artificial intelligence, they are even creating feelings these days. But to the point is, you become a cold person. And whatever you practice, it grows in you. So day by day, you're losing love, means even the people that you regard, you will not be able to give love to them easily, because you've locked your heart from experiencing love. So if you are damaging your own self, because love is your core need, and you're not allowing yourself to experience love because you have disregard for someone, you are cutting down your love supply, means you have disregard for your own self. it is a disregard, because your core need is love and you're not allowing yourself to experience love. Instead of learning how to develop regard for all, you're saying, yeah, this person doesn't deserve regard. Means you're saying you don't deserve regard. Because my regard is in keeping myself safe, in keeping my inner world clean. Nobody should have the power to dirty my inner world. I should have that regard for myself, that nobody can enter my inner space and dirty it, can lock my love from it. That much should be the inner regard, that courage, that no, my inner world is my business. So how do you develop this attitude of regard for all? Question for all of you. How do we develop this attitude? Like one of you said, if somebody is not behaving well, they're not listening to you at all, how do you maintain regard? Question your action, good wishes, forgive them, understand them by being kind and open, patience. Think of them as soul, child of God, just like yourself. Awareness, patience and more listening. Talk to them, but with good wishes inside. No more prejudice mindset. Love yourself first. See yourself as soul, then automatically you'll see everyone as soul. Wonderful. You've all given the answers already. So we'll just summarize it. The more you focus on people's strengths, it automatically enables you to give respect. And the more you give, the more you will earn back. And so focusing on strengths, and if ever your mind says this person has no strengths, they're all bad, then understand that that is your ego talking. Impossible that nobody has any specialities. We've been looking at their weaknesses too much, and that is why we are feeling disregard for them. So the more you focus on strengths, you will automatically feel respect, and the more you focus on their weaknesses, that's where you will feel disrespect. And this is where inconsistency comes, especially with people we are working day in and day out. That is our family. If you're working, your colleagues, actually, everything is easy. We will see how. We should never say anything is hard. The moment you say hard, it means you don't even want to try. So language is very important. Words are very important. So we want to understand, how do I develop consistent regard? Because when we are because we are at close proximity with few people in our life, we know about their strengths and weaknesses. And wherever the energy flows, that's where our attention goes. So like some of you already mentioned, I just want to summarize that when you see yourself as a point of light and a child of the supreme light, God himself, when you completely, this takes time to develop, and it is very easy. The moment you start this meditation, you will start seeing changes, that you are now seeing more respect for yourself and for others. Indeed, complete full regard for all might take some more time, but the moment you start this meditation, where you see yourself as this beautiful being of light who is virtuous, every soul's Natural design is a bunch of all of these positive qualities. Each one of us has these specialities within us. Based on our last legs of life, some of these specialities are quite visible. Some of them are partially visible. Some of them are hidden. It depends what kind of environment, upbringing, religion, culture, experiences you had in this few births of your life, last few births. Based on that, each one shows certain qualities. The spiritual aspect is so important to move away from our limited understanding, because if you look at person, you met with that person for 10 minutes, 1 hour, and you fully created an opinion. It is such a shallow opinion because it's not looked at the bigger map of or bigger journey this person has traveled. And we all need to have that much respect that let me not dismiss anyone who's been on this planet Earth for multiple centuries, possibly. And how can I conclude in 1 hour who this person is? So spirituality tells us look with unlimited eyes, far-sightedness, broad-mindedness, that each soul's original design is this beautiful thing. When you realize that you yourself are this beautiful being, it enables you to develop lot of self-regard. Regard which is based on achievements, on external beauty, on what you did, what you didn't do, will change. But regard that is based on eternal truth of each soul is consistent, unconditional, permanent. So the more you develop in meditation, this regard that this is who I am, a child of an abundant being, I'm super virtuous, you will feel all of that in you. And the one who has regard for the self will automatically start paying regard to others, because they will realize that just like I, the human soul, is so pretty, each one is pretty. And they will understand in this last few legs of life, they had some difficulties. That is why some qualities like patience or time management are missing. Doesn't mean they don't exist in them. My love and my respect will emerge those qualities again. It's not like I'm giving them or I'm teaching them. No, my love and faith will emerge those qualities again. But without knowing your spiritual dimension, having unconditional regard for the self is not possible, because we have developed a lot of weaknesses in us. And as a result of that, we keep making mistakes and then we lose respect for ourselves. So when God teaches, he says, each soul is this beautiful creation just like me. And the more you see yourself in this vision, in meditation, you detach from what you have become. Could be you are a little lazy, sometimes impatient, sometimes you get angry. Disconnect from that limited truth and connect to your beautiful image. You will find your current image to change and become this. Your potential will start emerging in practical life. And then your faith that indeed every being is like this, I should focus on their specialities. So with that, pretty much we can start taking questions from the audience. So feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions. So one of the questions that's already in the Q&A, I can take that up, which is basically, how do you have regard for kids, but also have to correct them and draw the line, especially when they don't listen? So sometimes, indeed, you might also have to do some kind of disciplinary action. which could be that, they get taken away of their gadgets or some TV time, or they're not allowed to go to friends. That is not disregard. Taking a disciplinary action is not disregard. But inside, if you have this kind of a feeling that this child will never change, never listens to me, is always disobedient, I don't know whether they will ever change. I can't believe today's generation, they are so useless, hopeless. If this is the thought process inside, that means I have created a disregard. But inside, if I still have this faith that indeed a child is being child, they will test my patience. I am, as a parent, I have to teach, and sometimes repeatedly, because they could have some personality traits which are very, very stubborn and sticky from their previous legs of life. So yes, it will take some time. I maintain full faith they are a being of abundance. That abundance will show up. But here I am taking the disciplinary action. That disciplinary action will be so powerful because inside you still love them, you still respect them. They will get it. They will actually change faster because your inner energy for them is so clean. And this does not develop just like that. Daily meditation practice is important. And I started with 15 minutes of meditation only because that is all I got. But I did it every day. And I read every day for 15 minutes because this mind is an illiterate, spiritual illiterate. So invest at least 30 minutes of your time every day and see how your attitude will start changing so quickly. Raj Yoga meditation is very, very powerful. You fill yourself with the divine powers. So actually, we can think about it. What we feel is if you don't have the fundamental knowledge, you're just taking few tips and going. Talking about specific scenarios are really, just taking easy tips and going. Till that inner building blocks are not built, you will never be able to change everything completely. So it's important to have that fundamental knowledge before you can apply it. Otherwise, we here at Brahma Kumaris, we are not taught simple tips. Um, I don't know if everyone has taken the Raj Yoga meditation course or not. Maybe some of them do. Um, but feel free to unmute yourself and ask the questions. So reminding a kid repeatedly and blaming them or giving them extreme harsh words, is that okay? I'm hoping you can answer that question yourself. Um, Repeated mistakes, many times kids do, let me allow you all to talk. I'm going to go ahead and unmute. This is why, today's generation, first of all, is little, they have their own mind for sure. And a lot of opinion as well. And if we are not practicing spirituality, then it is very hard to basically maintain that calm and patience and respect. And that is why we talk at fundamental level of how you do it. If we want to just say, okay, I'll make some simple changes, in the heat of moment, you are going to again lose it. So in this class, you might get some good tips, but those tips you will not be able to apply when that heat of the moment comes. And that's why it is so important to build these blocks at the ground level, at the deepest level. That's when it becomes more easier to apply it. So indeed, even if a child is making repeated mistakes, and if I'm reminding them harshly, if I'm speaking them rudely with them, then it is a disregard. That means Speaking rudely and harshly means you've lost hope in them. You feel they cannot change, that they are useless, or some or the other ill feeling has come. So yes, Raj Yoga meditation course is offered online every month at the Silicon Valley Center. You can check our website. It will be posted on the chat. So please look up there. And so this is again, when the kids this is again a mindset we develop, that till we don't talk harshly to them, till we don't raise our voice, till we don't do something which is very loud, they don't listen to us. It's this again only causes us to increase our voice, increase our rude behavior, our harsh behavior, because day by day they will keep testing you, and end of the day you will end up hating your own self, because you are becoming this person who's extremely mean. They will test your patience, so there is no end to it. And in our day-to-day challenging life, where you have to manage work, home, everything, where is this going to lead to? So we do need to take out that quiet time for ourselves to meditate and develop our inner world, that patience, that peace. What am I going to do? My child does this every day. Sit with yourself in silence. Inside us, there is wisdom. There is this beautiful inner voice that can guide us with creative solutions. We are not using them. We are only working at what else can I do to the kids so that they listen to me, they don't argue back, they listen to me. So indeed, where they are, for example, breaking all kinds of house rules, again, depending upon the child's age and your comfort level, there are many things you can do without yelling, which is to take away some of their privileges. That privileges could be whatever they like, whether it is being with friends, being with gadgets, whatever you can do, or they have to do certain chores at home to help out. That's the law we need. But at the same time, that love should not die. Check, am I spending that time with them where I am just friends? Even if they're not listening, can I still be their friends and say, okay, it looks like today you don't feel like listening to me at all, huh? All right, I'll also be a child with you. Let's just have fun. But tomorrow, can we do it my way? Can we do everything a little bit organized? Today, we will do it in a disorganized way like you want. Can we become a child like them sometimes and give them a break of all the rules and regulations? Or is it always going to be the ego battle? So it's actually doesn't matter if the other parents have whatever approach. What it matters is how you want to be, because one positive person in home can change the atmosphere. That much is the power of positivity. It will take some time, but your positivity will change. This is my personal experience at home, where in the beginning, there was a lot of adjustment, where many of the small things I stopped arguing with the family, whether it is related to food or whether it is related to cleanliness. I started withdrawing from a lot of small things which were becoming bigger battles, because looked like they wanted to be the way they wanted to be. Obviously didn't go to the extreme junk side or extreme mess side, but didn't keep forcing them on how the eating habit should be every day. Today's generation, you are lucky if they're everything they're going to do the healthy wise you want them to. I feel most of the adults also don't eat healthy food these days. So what can we really teach the kids? Most parents are very addicted to technology. They can't be without their phones. So what can you expect from the young generation? Grandparents are not able to be without phones these days. So what can you expect from the young generation? So some things you have to relax. So take that moment out in that silence and check, are you being too controlling? Maybe we are creating too many boundaries and that's why they're arguing back. Everything we are giving them some instruction. So indeed, we should create some structure in the house about sleeping on time, getting up on time, but having, again, this is everybody's style, right? My style is to have little bit of flexibility. And indeed, if they're staying up and watching TV or chit-chatting or wasting their time, then if they are very young, then yes, we should have those strong rules. It is easier to instill those rules when they are young. But still have that flexibility, saying, they're like, really, I just want to one day, can I just stay up? And yet say, hey, can we do it on the weekend? How about on the weekend you stay a little bit more? Even I will come and stay with you. We'll do again things together, right? To have that some flexibility, because when we become too rigid, they will do things behind our back. You might think they slept, but who knows what all they are doing. Today's generation is very different, at least to me, very different with the way I was raised. They are very different. So I think for me, the experience has been that one positive parent actually changed the other parent too. That's been my own personal experience. I feel that the same positive vibe and treatment is used by both of them. I think it is a matter of time that the positivity draws. And the reason for that is each of us as a human soul are a positive being. Nobody says end of the day, today whole day I was peaceful. I didn't get angry. I can't wait to get angry. You will never find anyone say that. But you'll certainly hear many people whole day. There's been so much stress. I want a minute of peace. We crave for what we are. And we are one beautiful positive creation. So your positivity will certainly draw the other person to be positive. It's a guarantee. But the rule is for you to not give up your positivity. And you can't if you, base it on few quick solutions. It has to be an intense inner work where you are working on yourself. You are emerging your positivity. That's when it is easy to show it. So I think we stayed a lot more than the allotted time. But thank you all for joining, and hope to see you again next week with another attitude. Hope you have a very beautiful day and beautiful week ahead. Take care, everyone. Om Shanti.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Om Shanti, Meghna sister.
Om Shanti.